Hey there. Have you ever heard of something called a Ponzi scheme? You might recognize the term. And no, it's definitely not a new kind of pasta. A Ponzi scheme is a type of financial scam where someone promises unusually high investment returns, but instead of earning real profits, they use money from new investors to pay the earlier ones. In reality, no wealth is being created. The money is simply being passed around. The scheme is named after Charles Ponzi, who became famous for promising investors a 50% return in just 45 days by claiming he was investing in international postal reply coupons. The truth was, there were no real investments at all. Ponzi simply took money from new investors and used it to pay the old ones. So how does a Ponzi scheme actually function? Let's walk through a simple example. Imagine a guy named Bob starts a fake investment company. He promises people they'll double their money in just 1 month. It sounds incredible. And that's exactly the problem. Bob convinces 5 people to invest $100 each, collecting a total of $500. Instead of investing that money, Bob spends it on a luxury vacation. A month later, it's time to pay returns, but Bob has no profits. So he needs fresh money. Bob then convinces 12 new people to invest $100 each, bringing in $1,200. He uses that new cash to pay the original 5 investors $200 each, exactly as promised, and pockets the remaining $200 for himself. The original investors are thrilled. They think they've discovered an amazing opportunity, so they tell their friends. Thanks to these glowing recommendations, Bob attracts even more investors. He keeps repeating the same process, using new money to pay older investors. But here's the fatal flaw. This system only works as long as new investors keep coming in. The moment people start asking for their money back, or Bob can't find enough new investors, everything falls apart. Why? Because there are no real profits. Bob is simply recycling money. When too many investors want their funds at the same time, there isn't enough cash to go around. Imagine everyone demands their money back at once. Bob owes $2,000, but he only has $1,000 from the most recent investors. He's short $1,000. Without new money flowing in, he can't pay anyone, and the entire scheme collapses instantly. One of the most notorious Ponzi schemes in history was run by Bernie Madoff. He managed to steal billions of dollars from thousands of investors. He promised annual returns between 10% and 20%, which sounded impressive but not obviously suspicious. Because he had once served as the chairman of NASDAQ in the early 1990s, he appeared credible and trustworthy. That reputation allowed him to run the scheme for 17 years until the 2008 financial crisis. When the recession hit, more and more investors tried to withdraw their money. Madoff couldn't keep up. Eventually, he confessed his crimes to his sons, Mark and Andrew. They reported him to federal authorities, the scheme unraveled completely, and he was sentenced to 150 years in prison. The lesson is simple. If an investment opportunity sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Always do your research and be extremely cautious of promises that guarantee high returns with little or no risk. And of course, don't try any of this yourself. If you'd like more videos explaining how these schemes work, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.